You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio, where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
KNICKS Talk Nation with your host, Steals the Great, live on Bars and Hoops Radio.
New York City, we back. The Big Apple, NY. The Knicks are back. Staten Mellow. This dedicated to my city, New York. Official kings in the court. Reach for the ball, a hard lesson gets taught. So bring your skills to the nearest playground. No clown around. Catch a helmet in the minute on a New York playground. The Big Apple's what they call it for short. And basketball is our sport. We play for keeps and never settle for short. So bring your game when you come to my town. We snatch and crowd. You get embarrassed on the court after you shook to the ground. You get respected when you prove you get down. So say the joke for the clowns. And NYC, we known to go a few rounds. This is the city where you're forced to go hard. You'll get booed out of Dodge and shown the door being the weakest on squads. Rucker Park and summer nights, they stay live. Brothers play for the pride and bragging rights on who's the king of NY. So grab the pill and prepare to go hard. Pick your 12-man squad. Orange and blue, better believe we go hard. This for my city, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me. New York City, sing it with me. Steals the Great, Hard Will, KNICKS Talk Nation Radio. Word.
I'm just gonna go through my phone.
Word up, man. Peace, Hardwell. How's everything? It looks like you're having technical difficulty. Shout out to Samoye. I see you, brother. Yes, indeed, man. I got bars. You know I got bars all day. You know what I mean? Back to another episode of KNICKS Talk Nation Radio. It's Monday. We got a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, and this is for all of those people out there, man. Like, you know, we not just fair weather Knicks fans. At the end of the day, it's always something to talk about.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no future in fronting. And we ain't fronting, kid. I'm the diehard Knicks fan since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? So it's always something interesting to talk about, man. For real.
That's right.
Without any further ado, shout out to Mike Ray. I see you out there, champ. Word up. Samoye. Okay. I see you, champ. Word. All well, man. What's good, man? Talk to the people.
Yo, we back again.
Again. You're already.
Like you said, forever Knicks fans, we're going to talk about it. It's a lot going on. In general, you know.
Yes, indeed, man. And don't forget, man, people out there that's looking to chime in, man, don't forget the number to call in is 516-206-0711. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Don't forget to like and subscribe, man. And smash that Cash App too, man. You can donate to the cause, man. Bars and Hoops Radio, man. I got a basketball tournament that I'm doing this summer. I'm putting out a lot of coins for the kids. We can always use a little help out here. But, you know, it's neither here nor there, man. But Hardwell, man, what's good, bro? Talk about it, man. How was your week leading up to today, man?
Hey, my week was pretty good. I can't complain, you know. Happy to be here, like I said.
All day.
You know, I hear a lot of Knicks talk. You know, even when the Knicks ain't playing no more, I still hear a lot of news. And reference to what you said about the Lillard situation, man. I'm hearing like we in one of the top contenders to get him. So you said that last show. So we're gonna get into that, but that's just something I wanted to tell you, man. That's crazy, man. Like when I seen that, I said, I gotta tell Stu about that.
Yeah, kid. You know what I mean? Crazy. I do my research, kid. It might go down, man. But you know, like I said, we'll get to that a little bit later on, man.
That's
you know,
the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, that's the meat and potatoes of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real, man. Shout out to everybody checking in on the station. Shout out to everybody.
But I'm good though. How was your week?
I mean, the week was great, man. You know what I mean? I got a chance to really do some family time again. Man, I took a break from the station on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Had a great show on Friday. Shout out to my brother Ali Vegas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that.
Always love, you know what I mean? Shout out to Shy Money XL.
Shy Money XL, yeah.
All pulled up to the station, man. We had a great show. Talked about a great album. You know what I'm saying? Good look for Queens. Good look for Ali Vegas, man. It was a great look for the station. You know what I'm saying? So the week was great, man. You know what I mean? The interns that I got, man, is working out tremendous. You know, they out there doing a lot of good work for us as a station. And like I said, man, everything that we do moving forward is about building and growing the brand and growing the station, man. And I'm just thankful, man, that I made it to see another week and another day. You know what I mean?
Amen to that. Everything coming together. That sounds good.
For real, everything is definitely coming together, man. It's forming like Voltron. You know what I'm saying? Forming like Voltron out here, man. For real.
Happy to hear that.
Word, man. But even though our Knicks ain't in right now, it's a lot of exciting things going on in the NBA playoffs, man. So what's your thoughts so far on the playoffs, man? You know what I'm saying? For real. What's your thoughts so far with the games and the outcomes? You know what I mean?
Well, I felt the same way I felt before. I did try to give Brooklyn a little credit because everybody know the same thing with all of those guys on the court. You know, it's kind of hard to beat all of those guys healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if you remember, I always used to say that the chemistry not there and dudes can't really stay healthy as far as injury wise.
Exactly.
And it's showing now. And dudes is old. And it's exciting, though. I want to see what happened next game. Because like they said about, I said it earlier, KD want to be the best man on the planet, so now he got to win that game because it's only one game you got to win to bring it back to Milwaukee at least before you give your boy some rest, if that's the case. So he would have to win that game.
Yeah, it's a best of 3 series right now. You know what I mean? Definitely a best of 3 series, man. And being that, we here talking playoffs, man, let's get into it, man. Yeah. So, I learned a lot about this playoff series, man, and about the playoffs in general, just looking at everything and basically giving me some insight on what the Knicks should do. But, let's talk about some of the things that happened during the playoffs. So Denver Nuggets got swept. Shout out to Chris Paul. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns. They went out there, did their job. But it was some controversy attached to that game, man.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic, man, Nikola Jokic, man, the league MVP was ejected, man, from the basketball game in crunch time, in an important game, an elimination game, because he let his emotions get the best of him, man. What did you think after you saw that play, and do you think that it was warranted, or do you think that he just got a lack of respect for who he was?
Well, when I saw the play, it didn't really look like he hit him as hard as they made it seem.
Mm-hmm.
But, when you seen what he said after the game, I felt like, dude he didn't mean no really harm. I don't think he meant to get thrown out, And if anybody else would have did it, they would have threw him out. So it makes sense to throw him out to keep it consistent.
I get that. But I mean, I can't lie. He did wind up. It did look malicious. He did swipe. It was I ain't gonna say it was completely. It was a basketball play because he really swiped to knock the ball out of Cameron Payne's hand, but he ended up catching him across the nose and across the eye, and it looked more vicious than what it really was. And then at the end, he showed some sportsmanship after he left. But I think that, the frustration stems from the inconsistency with the referees during the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I think that, the fact that everybody knows it's 2 separate seasons, the regular season and the playoffs, like we saw with the Knicks, you know what I'm saying, with Julius Randle and how the Hawks frustrated him, during our playoff series. Shout out to Robert Parr. We see you, bro. Word. It's just unfortunate that, they was probably gonna get swept anyway, but the fact that the team's best player got thrown out the game, it was crazy, man. For real. Shout out to Andre Jalil, man. He said he swung mega hard. He was frustrated, wasn't thinking. That's a fact.
Yeah, because his team wasn't playing good. I mean, they wasn't out of the game. But when you don't have no help, it gets frustrating. I think he knew they wasn't gonna win the series, not the game itself.
Yeah.
And I think that put frustration on as a player. And being the MVP, he had a lot of pressure on him because there's not too many MVPs that got swept in the playoffs.
That's a fact.
So for him to get that on his jacket, that's not good. Well, he didn't like that neither.
Yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad, man. It was bad. It was a bad look for the NBA, man, because, and he did kind of quit. Shout out to Andre Jalil. He said
it's a bad look for the NBA?
What's that?
That all these star players is hurt.
And we was definitely going to get to that. You
know why? Because they didn't give them enough time to rest. They ran them like horses because they had all them TV deals. And all the commitment, all the other stuff that got put on hold with COVID, all the money they losing with the fans not really being able to be in full capacity. So they running the players.
Nah, honestly, I don't believe that. I don't believe that was the case.
Think, bro?
I just think that at the end of the day, it's bad breaks. You know what I mean? Because those guys, they load managed throughout the season. So it's not like they was running hard. The Nets always had somebody. They never play with their big three. They probably play less than 10 games together collectively in the regular season together as a big three.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not saying just the Nets though. I'm talking about NBA in general. Like, if you look around and you see most of the team's main players are hurt. Donovan Mitchell's hurt. Murray's hurt from the Nuggets. Everybody's hurt, and it's not a coincidence that that can't be like a ball bounce to why everybody's hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's too many people.
Nah,
from my opinion.
Yeah, but those guys that you named, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, he's the one that never really load managed. And he took on a lot because he overcompensated for the fact that he didn't have KD for a period of time. He didn't have Kyrie for a period of time. But he never load managed. And then he hurt his hamstring, and that was it. But you got to contribute that to old age and just mileage in general. I don't think it's just this season.
No, yeah. I seen it too. They said Kyrie's been hurting a lot of playoffs. Harden's been hurting a lot of playoffs. That's not nothing new.
Yeah, and shout out to Robert Paul. He said less than 20 players out of the entire NBA played all 72 games. And you know who was one of them?
So that's my point. That's a good point for what I was trying to say. Still, they ain't enough rest, I don't think.
Yo, but hold on. See, now you're gonna lose.
No, I'm saying from the bubble. Yo, they went right back from the bubble, right? I'm asking you. I'm just asking your opinion.
Nah, they didn't go right back to play. They still had a little off season. They had the draft. They had about 2 months off to get right.
I don't know, still.
Yo, come on, man.
It's proven that that's not enough. But I heard that they had a problem. I heard that it was a problem about that. And, LeBron, if I say LeBron, they're going to say, oh, LeBron always crying. But it's certain things that they try to fight for. But like I say, you can't deny that all the obligations with TV, or not even TV, the deals that they had when the NBA first went on hold, they had to rush all of that stuff to catch up. They still behind.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
They are. They about to catch back up, though. They are still behind, though.
The players can't be responsible for that.
And shout out to Andre Jalil. He said if that was the case, the NBA players never get enough rest. That's a fact. And
well, considering the bubble, that makes it worse. That makes it more of a fact. Considering we never had this before COVID.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We never did it.
But all right, so let's look at a list of players that was hurt. And shout out to Robert Paul. He said in the back-to-back games were crazy this year. Yeah, they was, but most of the star players, they load managed this season. Look at some of the key players that's hurt right now, right? Kyrie Irving. That was a freak accident where it wasn't a freak accident. They all blaming PJ Tucker for dirty play. He came down on PJ Tucker's foot and twisted his ankle, right? James Harden, he had a bad case with a hamstring. That's just because he was honestly not load managing even before the lockout. Even before the bubble and all that, he wasn't load managing. He played every game anyway. So I just attribute that to wear and tear just in general. Mike Conley, another one, with hamstring issues. Anthony Davis, I think that was damn near an Achilles injury that sidelined him for a long time. Like how KD, remember when KD first got hurt in Golden State? He was out for a while because they was like, yeah, it's just a calf injury. Pause. And then he ended up hurting himself for the season. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I guess you can say it is overuse of the players, but I don't know, Hardwell. I don't want to let them off the hook that easy. But the reason why we're talking about this is because my burning question is this. After watching super teams struggle with injury, are you reluctant to see the Knicks build a super team and deplete their whole roster in the process of doing it? Do you think that now, after seeing how Brooklyn's falling apart, how the Lakers fell apart, and all of these key injuries to all of these star players, do you think that the Knicks should put all their eggs in one basket to basically build a super team now?
I mean, remember we said it. I hate to always sound like a broken record when I say our last show, but I said I don't really want to do nothing crazy to keep us mainly together. And like you just said, it's proven now that doing that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could work. You got to pick the right team. Even Phoenix isn't a super team. It's just a team, a good team. And
Yeah.
I said it. Good basketball is back in style. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So if we add a good piece, one good piece to our mix, maybe two, but not, like we said, not the Batmans, because that might mess up the chemistry. Maybe a Robin or two. We said that before. Keep what we have because we so young and talented. I even seen some stats that mention how fast Barrett reached a certain amount of points. He's on a list of some very good players.
Just to give everybody some context to what you're saying, basically RJ Barrett. I was about to say Andre, boy. RJ Barrett is in some,
you ain't never heard me say that.
Yeah, RJ Barrett is in some elite company, kid. So
yeah, that was crazy.
The only players that have recorded more than 2,000 points, 500 rebounds, and 300 assists before turning 21 was Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, Carmelo Anthony, T-Mac, KG, Luka Doncic, RJ Barrett, and LeBron.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice list.
That's big. But I don't know, man. You think RJ got it in him to be a superstar?
Let me tell you why he's good for us. Because he's not, he's not that superstar. We don't need someone that's going to hold the ball, move the ball, or it's easy to bring somebody in that we know is better than him and he still could help. You feel me? And I could see him being still a good player and not have an ego problem, because he's young.
Yeah.
Say if we bring in a Lillard, right? You gotta think about it. We gotta make sure the chemistry mix, whoever we bring in.
Yeah.
So
I know that this might be harsh, man. I think that he's a solid player, no doubt about it. He's definitely a solid player. I like him, but I really don't think that he has superstar qualities in him. And shout out to Andre Jalil, man. I'm not sure about RJ either. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Robert Parr. He said RJ needs to work on his mid-range jumper. Go out and work with CP3 in the off season because CP3 is clutch with them with the mids. He is. And shout out to Robert Parr. That's some great insight. You know what I mean? Robert Parr basically said that RJ needs to work with his mid-range jumper. I hear feedback.
Okay.
Yeah. RJ needs to work on his mid-range jumper. He says he needs to go and work out with CP3 in the offseason because CP3 is clutch with the mid-range game, which is true. You know what I mean? And I got an interesting point to make with CP3 as well, but I'll get to that later on in the show. You know what I'm saying? But back to my point, I don't know, man. I think that today's NBA is a little bit easier to score points because there's less defense being played. The referees call it a little different now. All of those guys that he mentioned, man, those guys are Hall of Fame players, man. You see RJ Barrett as a Hall of Fame player?
It's too early to say that.
But those guys all came out with the projection of them being great. You know what I mean? Like
that's the same thing you got to say about him. Then if he's on the list, if his numbers speak, numbers don't lie. You could judge him by saying you don't know, but he made it on that list, which is not easy to make it on that list.
Yeah,
for sure, because everybody would be on. They talking about the youngest players to make it, you know. So that means potentially he's on a fast track, and that's what we've been talking about for a long time. And that's your question: should we trade what we have for superstars? And he would be part of one of those pieces we would have to give up, right?
And that's what I'm saying. But honestly, I'm gonna get to that later. We'll get to that.
No, I mean you can trust that.
I don't want to spoil it yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spoil it yet. But yes, he is somebody that we probably may have to part ways with in order to get what we're looking for. You know what I mean? That's a fact. And shout out to Robert Paul.
If we stick to our chemistry, we won't have to worry about messing up. And then remember what you said a little while ago about what's going on around the league. These old guys, they superstars, but they're not lasting. So I'd rather go with young age, if you ask me. I'd rather go with, look what we talking about with him on the list that fast. Let's keep it real. That's big.
Because KD was
look at that.
KD was the number 2 pick. Kevin Garnett was number 1 overall. Kobe Bryant was in the teens. Luka Doncic was I think number 2 in the draft. Carmelo Anthony was, I believe, number 4. RJ Barrett was number 4. Tracy McGrady was a number 1 overall pick, and LeBron James was the number 1 overall pick. No, I don't even think T-Mac was number 1 overall. But he did come straight out of high school. But shout out to Mike Ray, man. See, he said go with year 1 and year 2 at this rate. By year 3, RJ will be a beast. It's interesting. Cut your mic off.
Another good point is this, bro. Nobody's looking at, everybody go crazy about Zion, right? And I love Zion, right? He's his teammate from college, right? Okay. He didn't make the playoffs. He did. Now let's if we gonna call it, we gotta call it spade for spade. Everybody go crazy about Zion.
Shout out
if that's the case, first,
number 3,
first, second, third pick. Yeah, right. What pick it was Barrett?
Barrett was number 3. He was number 3.
3, right?
Yeah,
okay, he's right there.
It was Morant 2 and Zion number 1.
There you go. So you got it. It's right there. It's in the pudding. And look what he did. Second half of the season, he picked up his 3-ball. He's what's his percentage from 3-ball? He's a good 3-ball shooter now.
He shot over 40%. He's
on the list for that too.
Yes, he is. He definitely is. But
so there you go. There you have it.
Yeah. He has
made the playoffs. Zion didn't.
He's
on these lists. Is Zion on that list?
Nah.
I'm just asking because I have to look at the facts.
And that is interesting because Zion isn't on this list.
But we go crazy for him because he could dunk the ball. Let's think about it. Barry need to go right, but we got a good piece. And he was killing that Duke. He was killing when Zion got hurt. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that boy tough.
Yeah, I mean, I like RJ. I like his transformation this year. He definitely transformed his game. He elevated his game this year. He became a little bit more consistent. You know what I mean? We're gonna need that. We definitely gonna need that moving forward because if he doesn't give that to us, we're gonna be in trouble. You know what I mean? For real. And shout out to Mike Way. He said John Moran isn't on that list either. That's a fact. Y'all got a point. Don't get me wrong. Y'all got a point. Shout out to my brother Mike Ray. Yes, it is a exclusive list to be on, and those guys aren't on there yet. You know what I mean? So shout out to RJ Barrett.
You can't make that list because it goes by age.
Yeah.
It's too late now. So if he's special, if he made it, that's why I brought that up. And you got to remember, right? Like I always say, those guys was on the number 1, the ESPN list, right before they came out.
100%.
And he is living up to his He is living up because remember, the Knicks, we wasn't going to the playoffs, man. If he wasn't doing what he's doing, we wouldn't be there.
That's a fact. Him and Julius
won a lot of close games.
Yeah, him and Julius Randle definitely played a major part in what the Knicks did this season. You know what I'm saying? And I got to give him his props, man. But you know, let's take a look at this free agency situation now, right? We spoke about it last week. We spoke about some big names that was on the market that could potentially come and change the fortunes here. Now, just going back to what we said about super teams, a lot of guys in the chat were saying that they wouldn't give up any future assets to make the team more competitive through trades. But we need a star. We need an alpha player. We need one. You got to break a few eggs to get an omelet. The only player I would break the bank for and for a trade is Damian Lillard. He's the only one. So now, if that means that I got to get rid of, I don't want to give it to RJ Barrett. I'll get rid of Julius Randle before I give it to RJ Barrett. But we got to replace Julius Randle with something. So now we got to turn to free agency, huh?
I don't want to get rid of Julius Randle.
You don't want to get rid of Julius?
You know why? Because he's still not that. I could see him like. Let me ask you a question. Do you think he would be, like he would change it? Would his morale change if he was the number 2 option?
Of course it would. And shout out to Mike Gray. He said there's nothing flashy about RJ, and that's why he slept on. He has an old man's game with the growth that translates to longevity. Now, back to your point, Harwell. I think he'll have a major problem with that.
But then he gotta go.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I think and I'm not trying to say it to be funny. I just think that he's so used now to being looked at as the Knicks man that carried the team this whole season, and he felt like he had to put all that pressure on himself in the playoffs, and he dropped the ball terrible. You know what I mean? And even like to the point,
he's wrong. Yeah, I want to hear what you said. To the point of what, bro? Yeah, I'm listening to you.
It's to the point where he started believing his own hype, and it was.
You have to. You have to. You have to. You can't fault a man for that. You can't fault a man for that. You can't. Now he did sell out in the playoffs, so you can fault him for that.
Yeah.
But I was saying he more of a Robin. If he can't accept to be a Robin, then maybe we have to revisit this conversation about putting him in a package, because I don't think next playoffs is going to take us to an Eastern Conference. And we said it. We have to look at who we facing in this conference, and it's going to get better and better.
Yeah,
dude's going to get rest. You know what I'm saying? And coming back.
And shout out to Robert Parr. He said that I want to see Obi in Randall's spot. I'm a little biased. No, I'm not.
I wanted to tell you that too, because you said that. I wanted to say when you said on the show before that Obi should have got more minutes. I meant to tell you that. And I felt like when I looked at it after and I thought about it, I seen your point a little bit more, because I was already saying Randall kept shooting, because I was even saying Middleton did the same thing the other night.
Yeah.
He just kept shooting. And Obi was making his shots.
Exactly.
But still, he's making his shots off of a good pass. And that's what Randall not understanding is why we was winning. And that's going to be the problem. If we add somebody in here that don't understand that factor of what we're about, then that's going to mess us up. Because it's through a passion.
We definitely got to pull it.
That make us good.
Bars and Hoops Radio, Knicks Talk Nation Radio. Who's this?
Michael Ray.
Mike Ray, what's up, champ?
What's good, brothers? How is everybody?
Everything is good. You hear him, Harwell?
Loud and clear, I hear him.
All right. What's up, Mike?
Yo, Will, what's good? What's good, boss? What's good, Will?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. What's good with you?
Man, I can't complain at all. Now listen.
Let's go, Mike.
let me bring everyone back inside.
Let's go.
This voice sound familiar.
Ran out in the parking lot. They out in the rain. Come in, brothers. Come in. Listen. Here's why, at least for the next 2 years, you don't move on from Julius Randle.
At least 2 years?
let me give you my point.
Let's go.
Anyone who comes here now is coming here because of Julius.
Whoa.
They're looking at Julius like this dude got the town rocking. So let me go over here. Even if he is a Robin, right? When we talk Robin, we talk Batman.
That's a fact.
But niggas act like they don't watch Teen Titans.
But I don't want to cut you off. Didn't I just ask him the question? Was you listening, bro? When I asked Stills, would he be okay with that? And that's a great question, because if he's not, then we may have to, revisit, let him go, because he's not good enough to get us where we need us to be by himself. Yes, he did get us to where we are, and we got to give him credit for that. But if he can't be a Robin, then what are we really doing here? Let's be honest. Oh, so next year he's going to be on Klay Thompson, Durant level, or whoever. We can name tons of players in the East or West that's tough.
Here's my retort to that. It's one name, Kenny Payne.
Yes, shout out to Kenny Payne.
Right? I might not be willing to be a Robin when I done been Batman. But when I got my sensei, when I got my OG right here in my ear, who I can say contributed to me being where I am today, if OG is telling me, look, young boy, you do X, you do Y, and you do Z. You still gonna get yours. But no one who you ever idolized got theirs without somebody next to them. And I believe 2-3 more pieces. I don't know if y'all read the report this morning.
Let's go.
Like Jason Hart loves Tibbs. He'd be the perfect role player. Right?
You be killing me still.
Barkley nailed it. Barkley said the problem was there's just not enough talent.
Yes.
So let's amass a little more talent. Let's see RJ move on to year 3. If his jump in year 3 was like it was from year 1 to year 2, he's gonna be 22 a night. Because that rookie year, if he hit free throws, his rookie year he'd have averaged 20 a night.
That's a fact.
He just couldn't hit the side of a barn with a chair.
Right? Shot got better. That's a fact.
If you add the same incremental growth going into year 2,
yes,
or year 3 for him, you take a Quickly, you take a Obi, who now we're going to get a summer league, which I will be at, by the way, already booked.
Let's go.
Right? They're going to have
me too.
And they're gonna have them runs that dudes normally have in the summer that everybody reads about, and then come back. You add yourself 2-3 more players. We're talking incremental growth.
Yes.
Right. So next year, I don't see it being far fetched to get the 4th seed. The 4th seed should be where they're starting at.
You think that? So hold on, Mike. So you think, currently constructed the way that this team is right now, if they just add a couple more role players and pieces here and there, that they can repeat this type of season next year and get the 4th seed again?
If those 2 players are a legitimate ball moving, downhill, lob throwing, nail a 3 when you leave them open point guard, and a 3, a Norman Powell, a dude I don't mean to offend anybody, but I need a 3 on the wing, whether it's a 2 or a 3, that got a white man jump shot. the type of joint you set your watch to. Money like that. Now, all of a sudden, you ain't running no double teams at Julius. I think that if that's how they set it up, their objective, their floor, not their ceiling, their floor needs to be nothing less than the 4th seed.
Mm.
And Father Time is undefeated. And since the dudes in Brooklyn can't stay healthy under no circumstances, they window is getting a little narrow here.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's definitely shrinking.
Right? And I'm looking at the flaws in Philly. It ain't like Philly perfect.
Nope. Nope.
Right? And in my opinion, I said this from day one. I'll say this now. Steals, don't hang up on me. I don't mean to offend nobody. But I always felt Milwaukee was overrated.
I believe that they overrated too. But the thing is, other teams are going to get better as well. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of teams caught up to us. And I think that Atlanta exposed not only Julius Randle, but it also exposed Tibbs' inability to make adjustments. And the fact that we need a point guard. Like, that's the most important thing in this whole equation. RJ can get better, Julius can get better, but if we still don't have a floor general to make the best out of the situation with those guys, we're going to be in the same predicament again next year. I mean, and it may not be the
let me pose this question. Whether college or free agent or trade, give me 1 point guard from each level that moves you.
All right, so in a trade scenario, of course, it's Dame Lillard. That's one.
Hands down.
Now, in a free agency situation, which is very interesting right now, Chris Paul opted out of his deal in Phoenix. I don't think that Phoenix is going to give him a lot of money. Even though he's doing what he's doing now, I think that they're going to say, thank you for everything, but we got younger stars that we got to pay. So I don't think that Chris Paul is going to get that money that he's probably anticipating on getting from Phoenix. Who I do think will pay him the money that he wants is his ex-agent, Leon Rose. So I think that worst case scenario, if we don't get Damian Lillard in a trade, they may save face, get lucky in free agency, get a guy like Chris Paul. They probably may draft a young point guard from college, have him learn from under Chris Paul for like the next 2 seasons.
That kid from Baylor is nice.
Exactly. That kid, exactly. And he's like a Chris Paul.
Mitchell.
Yes. He has the intensity, the tenacity of a Chris Paul. So I think that will probably be the worst case scenario. If we don't make a trade for Lillard and to save face and build on the team that we already got, I think that's probably the most likely scenario to happen in free agency.
So if you get CP3, you letting D Rose walk.
No. They're going to keep D Rose. He wants to play for Tibbs. He showed that he can't play starters minutes. He was better suited coming off the bench. I think that's what doomed us in the playoffs. When we made that adjustment and put him in the starting lineup, it weakened our bench to the point where they couldn't do nothing off the bench anymore. He came in the starting lineup. He still got his numbers, but it threw the chemistry off in the starting lineup. He had guys like Obi Toppin and Quickly clicking with him. But when they moved him to the starting lineup, the bench started struggling. So I think that D Rose is going to stay. I think they're going to find a way to keep him. You know what I mean? And shout out to Reg Long. Yes. Dame is going to be very expensive, man, and it will break up our core. That's a fact. But what you think about that, Mike, and what Hardwill?
I mean, I don't even know about CP3.
What?
Because, like somebody said in the chat, it's going to change. And if we stick into Young, he could help our team. But CP3 and Derrick Rose, I don't know. I think we need more of a player that we could use, similar like how we was using Randall, but that could make the shot, that got a little more experience. Because Randall took a long time to really even be in that situation. He's been in the league long enough, and we look at other players on our team and we not giving them credit, and they doing things at a faster pace. So when you look at it, like, is Julius Randle going to be our number one option? And that's why I asked earlier, can he handle being our Robin? Because that's what I think he is to get us where we need to be. And this is why I feel this way, because of the competition level. When I look at other players, I know they better than Julius Randle, and they putting the ball in those players' hands and we play those guys. And I always say it, it's either you got the best players or you got a good team. You know what I mean by that? Meaning, like, good ball movement, good teamwork could be the super team. Right. You know what I mean? Either one or the other. So I would kind of like to keep our core together, like Robert Paul saying in there, we don't want to break up our core. So then I'm not gonna say I don't want Dame Lillard, because I do, but we don't know what our young guys are gonna be. Like,
shout out
Dame Lillard was slept on. People need to start looking at people's stories more. Even I seen Chris Paul say today, he said, I had to play JV 2 years in a row. People don't know my story.
That's
so it's like the media and people just be going on what they see. They don't know what these players, man. Westbrook didn't make varsity. So it's like, you got to know all this stuff before you start just saying this, that, because quickly it could pass or do. If he's doing this at this fast rate, if you be patient and give him time, we don't know what we have and we letting it go. And that's the past mistakes we made as Knicks organization and management. Yeah, those guys have connections that we have now, so they need to use their connections. But we don't need to make the same mistakes and give up our young prodigies. I want to call them prodigies so they can understand what I mean. Give up young prodigies for dudes that are older and that are, already solidified in the league, but they already just, even like Julius Randle, he reminds me of a lot of these guys that been in the league for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. Didn't come in and just go crazy right away, but he been through situations too, so I'm not trying to be too hard on him. Yeah. He did a great job this year, and as long as he could be a Robin, I would love to keep him. If he can't be a Robin, then I would get rid of him for a good player that could go left or right. Julius Randle need to go right.
Yeah. What you think? What's your thoughts on that? What I was saying, Mike?
I'm not with breaking up the young core.
That's right.
I think that we done got to a point where we're not just relevant, we're respectable.
And we made it. We changed the whole dynamic of our team.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's hard to do with
the whole dynamic. Put us on front. What a productive, competently ran, firm system team looks like in this market.
That's right. And we did not look nowhere near like this.
Who's never seen that? They don't know the 90s Knicks.
Yeah.
They know the 2000s Knicks.
That's a fact.
Right? So they showed you what it's like. Won one playoff game, and it was pandemonium in the street.
That's a fact.
Dudes see that. It wasn't like somebody hit a lucky shot. These dudes came together, developed something, did it solidly over whatever they played, 72 games. That's a heck of a job resume. Right? So now you got folks that want to come here to experience what's here. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming to Steele's house for Steele's barbecue. But I get there expecting a barbecue and Born and Black and everybody done cleared the joint out. So there ain't nothing here. I came here for the barbecue. There ain't nothing here but trash bags and 25-cent tropical fantasy. That's why you can't break it up.
So let me ask y'all a question then now. Here's a hypothetical, right? Where we not giving up anything. And shout out to Reg. I see. He said he agrees with Hardwell. He said he likes the youth movement and we aren't ready to mortgage that for 1 or 2 year run. I get that. Now, going back to free agency, it's a couple of interesting names that could potentially be free agents that can possibly leave their teams and come and sign here legitimately. One is Kawhi Leonard. I don't think that he's sold on Ty Lue. I mean, everybody's saying he's a California kid. Him and Paul George agreed to play with each other. But I just think that it's so dysfunctional in LA with that team that if they lose, he's going to bounce. And I also think that CP3 is not going to re-sign with Phoenix. I just don't think that they're going to invest the money in him. You know what I mean? They got Cameron Payne that stepped up into his own. You know what I mean? Under CP3. I don't think they're going to invest that $100 million that he wants.
I think they are.
You think so?
Yeah, because remember, he said it today. I think Booker said it. They haven't did this in such a long time.
Yes.
And when a team does that, you know, they're going to give them the bag. It's worth it because they still playing. And remember, they still making money right now to give them the bag, and they still going to play. If they win a chip, it's going to decide. I think we was talking about someone else. And we was talking about someone else, and we were saying depending on what they do. And I think it's the same case here, depending on how far he does or go with them. Because remember, he got a good relationship with his coach. And not only that, when you win a ring, and he deserves a ring, if you get a ring, I think he'll just retire probably in Phoenix. And I wouldn't be mad at him because, you know, now we do have a shot because of Leon Rose, like you said. And I think that's the most. That's like when you got that what they say when you got that in your wallet or you holding that. You know what I mean? We got that because Leon Rose is the agent.
Yes.
So I respect it, and I just hope he uses it. He uses all his agent, whatever he used to do to pull those guys in, but not the guys that's gonna change the chemistry. Not Paul wouldn't, so he would be good if you ask me. Don't get me wrong. I think he would be good to like play his role and gear those guys up like how he did Phoenix. But I don't know too many guys that maybe Norman Powell. Who else did you mention again?
Yeah, Mike mentioned Norman Powell. Reg
Norman Powell, Jason Hart.
Yeah, Reg Malone mentioned big man from Indiana, Miles Turner.
Yes, Miles Turner.
I don't know about
Malcolm Brogdon.
The big bands though is locked down. Oh, I take Malcolm Brogdon is free.
He's tough.
He's free.
I'm not sure if he's free or not.
But a lot of people think that Indiana gonna blow it up.
They need.
If they do, I'd be willing to move a few items to get him.
Wow.
Oh, me too.
Wow, for Malcolm Brogdon?
Yeah, he's a Knick. The way he act, he don't celebrate. You know what I mean? Him and Barack Obama had a rapport. That kid is different. He's smart. Yeah. He ain't into the showboat, and he'll come here and do his job. That's what we need, because Tibbs is not with all of that. And that's what we got to take into consideration when we talk about bringing a player. Somebody that's going to follow the script, you know, and can hit the shot. He can hit the shot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he got some dog in him.
Yeah, he does. But for the big man, don't even entertain it. Mitch and Noel, watch what they do.
Man, shout out to Reg Long. He said that we might have to move on from Noel, man. He was a 1-year guy.
Now we get him back. No way. All what he did, Stills. What you think about that, Stills?
I like what he did, but he got hurt a lot, man. Him and Mitch, see, the Knicks. That's why I wanted a guy like Andre Drummond, man, because he's a big body that you could throw in the middle, man. Nobody's gonna push him around. Nerlens Noel, we got killed in the paint by Clint Capella.
Yeah, what did he do over there with the Lakers, though?
Who?
Yeah, man, you just mentioned Drummond.
Oh, nah. I mean, you know,
bro.
I think that
we don't need his little bit of points. We need the defense that Noel give us.
He's a rebounder.
Yeah, I respect that, but Noel blocks that.
He's a walking 20 and 20.
Facts.
Okay, but
the right situation.
Is he a Knick?
I think he can be. Look at what Tibbs did to Julius Randle. You know what I mean? He's a tri-state guy.
Nah, bro, that ain't the game no more. They're not sitting that big dude in the middle. You clogging the paint, bro. The way the Knicks played, they couldn't have that dude out there. If you look at it, that's why Noel, or if you look at how Tibbs coach, you clock like a lot of NBA teams don't want him for that reason. You see why they had him on the bench. Then they had to put what's his name, Gasol in. because he can hit the three and spread the court and not clog the middle. Granted, he do get the rebounds. He better get the rebounds, getting millions of dollars on that big.
That was the
right,
problem.
Let me toss a name in here.
Let's go.
From a story that I read, and I think it was The Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Because dude's pops is a coach in the G League, would you move a few picks and Mitch to Memphis for Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Ooh, nah.
He's a stretch.
Nah.
He's 3.
We don't need that no more.
Mitch.
Mitch is too valuable. Mitch
to go down with a multiple fractured pinky toe.
Nah.
Right?
Mitch had bad luck. He plays so hard.
He gives you more He gives you more offense.
Nah, he's just coming off a major knee injury at a young age too, and he's a big man. And shout out to Shaw Legacy. He said the Knicks, like Mike did say, the Knicks are looking at Miles Turner along with Malcolm Brogdon. Wow.
Because Indiana trying to rebuild. So you know what? Take 19.
I
take
like Turner
21. Take next year's Dallas pick.
Whoa, Mike, you talking about giving up 2?
Listen, for Brogdon and Turner.
Come on. Nah, that's too much. I think that's too much. I don't think that they deserve 2 first-rounders for those guys. And nah, man. Brogdon is okay, but I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks. 19 and 21?
Well, listen, you got 19, 21 this year. And you got the 32nd pick in the second round.
Now, I'll probably give that.
Which you might as well consider a low first rounder.
Yes.
So you give that Kevin Knox a 2 next year for Brogdon and Turner. I'm going big game hunting. Go hard or go home.
Yeah.
It's like when we used to go to the strip club. I'm trying to take 2 chicks home. I ain't trying to put nobody else out there. I just speak for myself.
Shout out to Mike. But that's an interesting scenario. I mean, it's not a sexy move. The team would be better. I think that that Brogdon would add some stability at the point guard position. Miles Turner, I'm just not sold on him though.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Miles Turner.
Nah, that's too much. I just wanted to say that. My bad about that. That was too much, Stills. That's too much to give up for them two. Dude been in the league. He should have been made noise. He's just like another Randall to me.
Oh, we might have to show. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard what I said, bro? He's like another Randall to me. He's been in the league all this time. And I'm not trying to give up all that. I like Brogdon. If Turner's a throw-in with Brogdon, depending on what we giving up, then I would take that deal. But as far as our bigs, I'm kind of sold on Mitch because what I was going to say is when I watched Mitch before he got hurt, anybody came in the paint, they was intimidated by Mitch. And that's true grit, Nick defense. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was catching all them alley-oops. So let's keep it real. Like, you can't just replace him like that. Anybody get injured. You said Jackson was just on his own injury. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he just came off a knee injury.
Yeah, so with that being said, like, Mitch is already back. Like, I follow son, he's already ready. Like, and I think he's going to be good for us. With him in the well, hopefully we get in the well back.
I don't know, man. We need some shooters, man.
But those are our bigs.
Yeah, we need some shooters, man. We definitely need some
It's fair to say, if you have Mitch, knowing the way his range is, I'm not saying you beat Atlanta, but I also say that Trae Young isn't Drakeson in the lane. He might have blocked 3-pointers. He might have blocked 3 lobs.
Yes.
Right.
Him and the
I think that was one of the big differences, especially since you don't have the shoot. I mean, but then again, you got the second lowest payroll. Atlanta spent bread
to get
Bogdanovich.
They did.
Lou Williams. I mean,
They
spent bread. They're where they're supposed to be.
They did. They spent.
They going home though. They got one more round in. They going home. This man is already putting bandages around his shoulder. Trae Young, that boy can't take the pressure. You see the defense they put on him.
Yeah, man.
They did.
I don't think that Mitch would have stayed. I don't think he would have been in foul trouble, man. It's hypotheticals, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I like Mitch, but again, man, those guys is too thin to win, and then he can't like the game.
You thinking trade him while he got stock still?
You have to
get rid of him.
You have to, man. I'm just thinking of improving the team, man, and kind of getting players that fit in today's game. Mitch doesn't extend the floor like big guys nowadays can extend to the 3-point line. You know what I mean? He can't do that, and he's a foul magnet. He can't.
But can't intimidate. But they can't intimidate.
Nah, they can't. But
they can't intimidate and they don't play defense like him.
But that's the problem. It's like he chases everything, and then he gets himself into foul trouble, and then that hurts us as a team because he can never stay on the floor. Am I lying, Mike?
Listen, I'm in total agreement. I thought he had improved on that a little bit before he broke his hand, and then he broke his foot.
Then he broke his foot.
He did.
4 minutes after
he's young, but
yeah, man,
it's
crazy.
Young.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like him, man. I like Mitch, but I just think that
two shooters.
Yeah, we need some shooters.
We need two shooters. The minute two shooters eliminate the ability to double down on Julius, knowing Julius is a willing passer, right? So you give him some dudes that shot makers, not shot takers.
That's a fact.
Right? You get him two shot takers with one of them being a point guard. Julius already showed you that with that Bernard King fall back a little bit, you can't one-on-one this man and win that matchup consistently. So now if you spread it around to where whoever he gives it to is going to drain the bottom of the cup.
Yeah.
That's all you're looking for. Well, what they had now, you're going to have substantial growth next year.
That's true. That's true. Shout out to Shot
Legacy. Right. But listen, my question was, do you think he could carry us, though? Because even though he had a bad year, first year playoffs, cool. I get that. Can he carry us all the way through the Eastern Conference with 1 year of playoff experience? I don't think so. So I think that he has to admit he's a Rodman. So somebody said earlier that Rose could tell him, listen here, but still say he don't think he's gonna go for that. So my point is, if he can't be a Robin, then we gonna have to be happy with the most second round. Julius Randle is not taking us to the Eastern Conference final with that fadeaway left-handed jump shot. What he was doing. And then he forced the issue. He didn't even get a ball up when he realized he wasn't cooking. He kept shooting. When Obi was hot, like Still said, all other players was making shots. He kept forcing his hand.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why I'm not sold on Julius moving forward. I think that like he said, I don't think he wants to be the Robin. I think that he really thinks that he's a Batman. 8 years in. Shout out to Andre.
This is why you pick up the third year option. You say, look, your first year here, you was deplorable. Your second year here, you fixed 90% of the issues we had with you in your first year. You fix them things in the third year, here, next year, you pick up them errors that you made this year, show the same improvement. I have no reason to believe that he couldn't carry a team. Because if you looked at last year's Julius Randle, we were ready. Listen, I was ready to drive the Uber to the airport.
Man, Boston gonna be back. Philly gonna be back.
Well,
Milwaukee gonna be back. Brooklyn gonna be back.
Hold on.
Too much power.
Hold on. Shout out to Andre, man. Thank you for joining us on the conversation, bro.
No
Word,
doubt, man.
What you had to add? I know you've been dying to get in.
Oh man,
My brother Mike Ray is on the phone too, kid. Mike, give us some great insight.
Yeah. He said he was talking about the centers. So you know, I just want, first of all, real quick, you talk about free agency, right? And so, and you talk about who's coming to New York or whatever the case. I feel like there's one main reason why anyone would come to New York is that if Tibbs did it with Elfrid Payton,
no doubt,
and Reggie Bullock as a starter.
Yes.
So the bar is low. Point guard, anybody could come in there.
Yeah.
And do better than that. So, and if you respect Tibbs, because Tibbs is one of those guys, I don't know how a superstar would do. You know what I mean? He's like one of those guys, it's his way, the highway kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we got the 4th seed in the playoffs in the East with this squad, like think about it. If you're not a Knick, right? Say, take off your Knicks fan.
Yeah.
And you coming in here and you like, who you worried about? Think about it. Who you worried about?
Who am I worried about on the Knicks?
Right. Like, no, yeah, like if you come in to see the Knicks, if you the Nets, nobody. So when people like, yo, keep this person, keep that person, nobody's worried about nobody in the squad right now. You know what I'm saying? However, I love Mitch. RJ, I'm not in love with. Julius Randle, I think is one. Remember when he was here that first year? He was spinning all over the place and trying to dribble the ball. He was trying to be the star, and everybody's frustrated. But he did improve this year, so he did deserve that most improved player. Tibbs deserved the coach of the year because he did his thing. You know, Monty was right behind him, but he had CP3, he had Devin Booker, and all these guys. Yeah. So I think if people come to the New York Knicks, they like, well, damn, if he could do it with these dudes in New York City, I feel like anybody. But there's one thing, because we all know we need a point guard.
That could be the only thing.
What's the only
thing? That could be the only thing that's making guys want to come, like what he's saying, because nobody's saying they want to play with Julius Randle.
Nobody cares.
If you don't want to be a Robin, if he can't be a Batman. So if you don't want to be the Robin, then I don't know. Like I said, we got to get rid of him.
Julius is neither here nor there, depending on the star, right?
Yeah.
So think about it. There's a few scenarios. So one of the, I think, like I said, we need a point guard, right? Everybody knows we need a point guard.
Yeah,
right?
It's mandatory.
We definitely need a wing. Everybody, Reggie Bullock cannot be a starter after the season. No. He cannot be I like him off the bench.
That's not fair though. You know why?
It's
because
definitely fair, brother.
Now let me tell you why. No, look.
Real quick.
I don't want to cut him off. I'm just saying it's not. Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you finish that. I just got to show some love to the chat, man. Shaw Legacy said that's why he's telling us that the core is more about Tibbs coaching than any specific player on our roster.
Right.
Which is 100% true.
And that's what I was about to say, bro. You can't take away everything. Now, I was cool with taking away Peyton, right? And then I seen some faults in my decision after I felt that way because Rose was better than him, but he was just doing his job. And when I realized I was dissecting my thoughts, and I said, his job alone is what we needed because we're that type of team. That's how we won. And you said it. We won off what Tibbs did. The guys had to buy into that. You know what I'm trying to say? Right. So those guys that's better than Peyton, those guys that's better than all the guys we talking about, is not buying into that. They don't even want to come there.
Right.
So we got to find the right piece. You know what I'm saying? Now, my point when I say I didn't agree, because Bullock, he guarded all the best players.
And that's beautiful. And you're right. This
is my point why I said that. Not just to say anything to you. I was saying that he deserved to start. Because if we get a good point guard, we don't have to have both of them to be the type of players we need. Because if our main point is we were good off of grit and defense and moving that ball.
Well, argument's sake. All right, Norman Powell's in here. You starting Reggie over Norman Powell? Let's just say.
I mean, that's debatable, bro.
Hell no.
You know what?
There's no way. There's no argument. That's not even debatable. He can't start over.
Can I tell you why?
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Okay. Denver Nuggets just got swept, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Didn't they just beat Portland?
Okay.
Didn't they just beat? Wasn't he playing? Hold on.
Yeah, we can't put that on
No. Let me make my point. If you on the court with somebody giving 50 clips and you gonna try to say whatever, Bullock would have been over there hitting threes and playing D because he did that on the Knicks.
Because that's what he does. Yes, that's what he does.
Okay, so we wasn't even in the playoffs, bro.
Right.
We wasn't even nowhere near. The Blazers been making it. So my point is, they added Powell to go further. That's why I brought up that example. You want to talk about why they brought him there.
Right.
They did not expect to go home that fast. That's why Lillard talked about leaving. So let's be clear. You can't.
But no, all right, so check this out. So check it out.
Why that's debatable.
Right. Okay. I could dig it. So I threw out Norman Powell because he's not the top guy. Of course, the top guy is going to be Kawhi at that position.
Let's go.
But I just feel like, in my opinion, brother, because you're right, it's debatable. In my opinion, we start Norman over Reggie Bullock.
Wow.
All day.
Is it his jump shot? Because Bullock played better defense, was just as good.
But I do agree with that. But
he's a liability.
But check this out. So right now, check it out. He is a liar. Do you remember that travel in the playoffs? Did you see that travel?
On
Reggie Bullock.
Yeah.
What was that? Normal Powell, he giving you that?
You don't want to bring up no stuff, Powell?
Come on. Nah, I don't care.
I went on a shooting slip for
but I was just using Normal Powell as an example.
Mike,
it's not a good one. I'm not saying you're making a bad point because all your points were very good. I wasn't saying it wasn't. I just said that if we are talking about how the Knicks were good, and that was one of your points, you said Tibbs did that, and Bullock brought into the system, and he guarded all the best players. I said before a couple episodes ago, I said that other guys were saying that, we got to give this player the ball. I said, nope, it's going to be Bullock, it's going to be Burks, and sure enough, that's what it was. You know who was Randall's main pass guy? Bullock.
But hold on.
It was Bullock and Elfrid Payton. Those are his two guys.
Bullock, exactly.
It was his two guys for whatever reason.
I'm going to say this, right?
He can't do for him.
I'm going to say this.
I can't say that he can't do for him.
Not big.
Because they did nothing.
Bullock did.
I like Reggie Bullock. I don't like him as a starter. I like him as a bench guy.
I do like him
off the bench to guard some tough players off the bench. He's
not aggressive enough.
He's definitely not.
He don't have to be a starter. I just felt like over Powell, that's debatable start right there.
All right, so check it. So here's the thing.
How about Terrence Ross?
Terrence Ross?
That's the same thing.
He ain't
got no defense.
He's not a shooter, though. He's not a shooter.
He is a shooter, though.
He is a shooter. He's a streaky shooter. He's going to give you a good night. He's
a streaky shooter.
We don't need no more streaky shooters. We need knockdown shooters. We need Bogdanovich type shooters.
But let me tell you this.
Like Atlanta has.
Streaky too.
My bad. I just want to finish my point about the coaching and people coming to New York.
Let's go.
So I think that again, we need to start at, as Will say, it's debatable if we need a wing. But I think we need to start and wing. But I think what we are missing, because you touched on this, that's why I was trying to lie again. You said we don't need a center. Let's say, first of all, we couldn't beat what's this young blood name over here? Clint Capella and John Collins.
Oh God.
We couldn't get past them.
Mitch was hurt though.
No, right, exactly. So we did that with your guy, the guy that you said you like. Because we all love Noel for his blocking ability and so forth. But he's a stick, right? He's like Snoop Dogg on the court, right? So if you look at, let's say we beat the Hawks now. Now we going up against what's the big man over here and the 76ers?
Joel Embiid.
Not happening.
But that's what I said, man. You talking about changing Knicks for other players that's not Knicks. But go ahead, I want to cut you off.
No, I'm just saying. No matter how you slice it, there's going to be a big man in it because the play. So what happened with the Hawks? The playoff when that round was that we got exposed as the regular season Knicks. The regular season Knicks showed up, right? And like you said, Steels, the biggest mistake Tibbs made. His biggest mistake was taking Elfrid out of the starting lineup.
Yep.
And not only did he take him out the starting lineup, he completely scrapped him out of the whole lineup. We didn't get no minutes out of him. We didn't get no fouls.
Why you think he did that?
It got personal. It got personal.
No, it got personal for him. The coach can do what he wants. The player has to take it.
Yeah, but we never had all season. We never had any chemistry issues. Like all you heard out of this team was guys like playing with each other.
He got rid of Austin.
Yeah, all you heard out of this team was guys like playing for each other. They really are happy for one another. Once the playoffs came and Tibbs switched up the formula,
you can't switch it in the playoffs, bro.
In the ninth inning, you can't do that. And then what happened was, Alfred Payton's moms took it personal.
Yeah, she went wild. Where'd she come from? I didn't even know she existed. Right.
That caused a whole lot of confusion and chaos within the circle. And that's when the wheels fell off completely. And Tibbs already made the decision. Like, shout out to my brother, the bearded one. He said, yo, are we committing to this? Tibbs committed to keeping Derrick Rose in the starting lineup, knowing that Derrick Rose wasn't a starter at this point in time in his career. It ruined everything.
Mad minutes. And he gave him mad minutes.
Ran him into the ground. Right. And shout out to Reg Long. He said all the people not currently on the Knicks, we were overpaid for. Norman Powell, Terrence Ross, etc. He said that he'd rather find those type of players
in the draft.
100%.
100%.
Exactly. Because those guys, we already know what they bring. And if we got younger players moving at a faster rate, that's my point. I would rather work with them guys. And as far as he said about the centers, I said it earlier, you either going to have a good team or a superstar team. And it looks like we're going to have a good team because we're going to have to give up good pieces to get superstar talent. And I don't think that's worth it because it's going to mess up the chemistry.
So hold on, Noel's on the he's on the contract or he got a 1 year?
He got a 1 year.
All you got to do is either re-sign him or we got to find some. So here's my thing about the center. It's not so much that I feel like there's centers that's better than Noel per se or Mitch. Because Mitch doesn't create his own shot. He gets alley-oops and he might get a putback. So the problem is with the centers we have with the Knicks, you see these dudes, they grab the rebound and they looking around. They never look at the basket. They always looking to get the ball back out. And it's just like that shit been happening since Ronnie Turiaf. And I just be like, yo, these dudes been grabbing the rebound and they standing and they ready to give it back. If we could get 12 to 15 points from our center, just a putback and picking up fouls, because when your center's big, he's trying to put it back. Now you put Clint Capella, you put pressure on him or anybody else's center, and that's a big part that I feel like we missing. That we got to start putting pressure on the big mans.
Let me ask y'all a question, and Mike, you can chime in on this too, man. So Shy Legacy put in the chat, man. Bradley Beal's names keeps popping up. Back from Knicks trade rumors.
That means we got to lose RJ.
So you willing to give up RJ for Bradley Beal?
For Bradley Beal, yes. I mean, I don't like the 35, 40 million a year. RJ Barrett, I feel like this because like you guys mentioned the stats. I saw that a little while earlier, and yeah, that's some good company. Again, 3 of those guys came out of high school.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. 18 years old, they was already in the league. Yeah. So that's kind of like an asterisk there. You know what I'm saying? RJ is nice.
Though.
That's a fact.
He's young.
Yeah, he's young. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this. You look at Ja Morant. You look at these. You look at Trae Young. If you got it, you got it.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? But that's not to say he can't develop into the player. He could be every night because RJ Barrett is also, you get it one night, you don't get it the next night.
Yeah, strictly.
So we're not really sure which RJ we going to get on a nightly basis. You might get that, oh, there he go. There's that young player. Then another night, you'd be like, damn, because sometimes you've seen it. Tibbs benched him. He ain't finishing the fourth. Him and Elfrid on the bench, last 5 minutes, 8 minutes of the game. That's you know what I'm saying? And so that can't happen. You know what I mean? So, but if that ain't gonna happen with Bradley Beal, Beal's scary.
And shout out to Sean Morris. He said Beal isn't a winner, and we need winners with winners mentality.
I think that's y'all change the chemistry.
But the chemistry it's better to
think.
Change it now than we like, because who we built like. So, all right, your perfect world. How the Knicks look next season? What we doing?
I think if we make those decisions like some of that y'all saying, we won't be the 4th seed like that because the dudes had to buy in. When you first came in, you said it. You said it was all Tibbs.
It is.
So if we put, first of all, dudes that ain't gonna want to play for Tibbs because y'all said it. He not with all of the superstar thing. I heard somebody say it earlier. Yeah. It's his way or no way.
Right.
So if we know that, we already got to stick to what we know. Meaning, like, it has to be a player who's gonna fit and play the system. And if you're gonna play our system, we should be able to do that again or do better because our talent is already peaking.
So who is that?
Who we gonna add? No, that's what we having a discussion for.
Oh, okay.
But as long as we don't give away none of the true Knicks, that's a thing I keep reverting to because you know why? All right, I got one good point and I'm gonna pass it. We in the Euro League game now, right? Where all the bigs can shoot. Noel can't shoot, Mitch can't shoot, but Tibbs got them on the floor. That means that we're going another direction. I said it earlier. It's either this way or that way, and we going this way because of what we have. And Tibbs not gonna give up what got him there. I don't think. If, like you said, we could re-sign Noel real quick for that bread, whatever. Re-sign Julius. He just got to be humble to put somebody else ahead of him because he's not a number one option.
It already happened to Julius. Remember last year when we had Marcus Morris?
Yeah.
They didn't even mean for that to happen. But he was our most clutch player at that
and we
point.
ended up trading.
Still said
he ate it up.
That's a fact.
They drafted Toppin, the same thing. That's the same point. Still said that too. They drafted Toppin because he wasn't doing nothing. So he has to take that.
So shout out to Sean Legacy. He said Washington ain't winners. We can use that gun that they got over there because they ain't. That's a fact.
But they're gonna be scary next week. If they fix up something, Wizards could be scary next season.
So here's my perfect scenario since you asked that, right? To me, and I mentioned this earlier. I mean, since everybody's so big on not giving away assets and pieces, the only way that we can make this happen is in the free agency market. Now, if Kawhi opts out, you have to make a pitch at him because he's probably going to scare the Clippers and go test the waters. Same as CP3, like because he already opted out of his deal, so he's technically going to be a free agency after this. I think that we need that floor general. We need somebody that's going to come in and run the show the right way. So, if a perfect scenario for me is to grab a CP3, give him the money that he wants, because we're gonna have over like 60, 70 million in free in cap room anyway. So we can sign him. We can still sign Julius Randle.
Sign him to what?
Huh?
Sign him to what? Still not to cut you off. My bad.
Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Give him a 3-year deal. Give him a 3-year deal. What do you want?
He getting 30. He getting 30. They're gonna give him 30.
Yeah, because right now he turned down 40 million next year so that he get a longer extended deal for more money. That's why
what I'm saying. He's saying 30. How much you think the Knicks? I don't think he's worth it. He ain't gonna last 3 years.
The Knicks will probably give him a 3-year deal.
He's not gonna last 3 years.
What do you mean? He's not. He's nowhere near 40.
So check it. Well, I think what the strategy would. Here's the other angle. The Knicks have. It seems to me. Tell me if you feel like this. I feel like they got a better front office now. They got Worldwide West. They got these guys, and they got a better coaching staff. I think people believe in them now. So I think the Knicks are going to be much smarter. They already signed this kid Luka. That's already their insurance package right there, right? Yeah. So now he's going to come in. You're going to get CP3. What's he going to do? He going to train quickly. That's what he's doing, right? They're going to have quickly behind him. I don't know what they're going to do with my man because I liked him too. He ain't show up in the playoffs. What's his name over there? Played for Golden State. Burks.
Kelly Oubre?
Kelly Oubre?
Burks. No, Burks. Burks.
Oh, Alec Burks.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. But I meant to mention Kelly Oubre. I'd play him over Reggie Bullock too.
Yeah, that's a fact. So
he's aggressive. Simply for that.
I would give CP3 that 3 years, 100 million. The Knicks was ready to give him the 40 million this year.
Not 100 million for
3 years, 100 million.
Yeah, you can't.
Why
not? If you give him 30 at like 90, but Jesus, give him.
Did you hire him to be the coach next?
I don't know about 100 for 3 years.
You got to think about this. Can y'all remember the last time we made it to the playoffs? Right. Before this,
my man is on the line.
Hold on.
Ask my man what he think about that when you finish, Steve.
What was the last? When was the last time the Knicks made the playoffs, and who was our starting point guard?
I forgot. I know we had Spreewell.
We had
no.
That's too far.
Raymond Felton and Jason Kidd.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
Yes.
See, I told you he was on the line. I knew my guys on the line. Jason Kidd was the common denominator of that team that led the team. He had the offense running. He had Carmelo playing at his best.
What was that?
How far did they go?
They went to the Eastern Conference semifinals. They lost to the Indiana Pacers.
That ain't
They
good
lost
enough.
to the Indiana Pacers.
That's
But
That ain't good enough.
my point is,
And
Jason
they
Kidd
didn't
was
lose.
40.
They didn't lose to the Pacers because of skill. They lost because JR's elbow against Boston broke the momentum.
Thank you.
But that's still not good enough.
But hold on. My point is this: we had a seasoned veteran point guard that helped run the team. We needed that veteran leadership. Right now, yeah.
Stills, I don't think the argument
saying,
the argument isn't whether or not we should get him. I'm saying $100 million for 3 years.
It's the
for
money.
A old dude.
Yeah.
You gotta pay him. That's the cost of doing business.
I hope the front office is steadfast and say something. Yo, let's just come on, 25 a year, and I think that's worth 100 for 3 years.
Yeah, he just turned down $40 million for one season.
Yeah, but he don't want to be in Phoenix. But I feel like if they win and he not going anywhere,
he will go back to Phoenix.
I think that he's going to leave. Phoenix isn't going to give him the money that he wants.
If they win, Stills, they will.
They not going to give him the money that they want because they looking at the fact they still got to sign Ayton. They going to have to keep Booker. They going to have to pay.
Yeah, they're looking at the youth. They going
to keep all of their youth. They going to move on to CP3.
Yeah, but they need him. If they got that much youth. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Why we not? Yeah, bro. If they looking at the youth, why wouldn't we not be? Like he's saying, 100 mil. That's ridiculous, man. I'll sign him for a couple years. You know why I would? Because I know he's gonna help my young guys, like you guys said, with quickly. So that's kind of worth it. So it's like I'm giving them an extra 20 mil for that, though. If you're giving them 100 mil, nah,
it's right though. But at the end of the day, look, you're not depleting any of your young assets. The whole point was people here didn't want to trade away players. We didn't want to trade away none of our talent. We wanted to keep our draft picks, right? So you got to pay a couple of dollars.
We ain't gonna keep the draft picks. That's if we get anybody, we ain't keeping them.
No, but but that's where now a Bradley Beal situation comes into play now.
Right. Well, he got to ask. He got to ask out because he's still under contract and he getting $40 million. So that's we can't pay him and CP3.
Nah, I get that. I know. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. They gonna have that 70. Yeah, they'll work it out. They could work the numbers out to make it all work, and then we can still keep Julius at the end of the day if Washington doesn't want him in a Beal trade. You know what I mean?
If we got a CP3 in the Beal, first of all, I don't know what you do with RJ. Maybe you move him to the 3 and then have Reggie. Right. But if you did that, then I would like Julius as because now he's the third option.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that changes everything. I think
it does.
It gives us.
We're not the same team.
And not to mention we still gonna be able to keep Derrick Rose because he know he's not a starter. And I think that he's comfortable in the point of his career where he's at right now. He's still just competing. He got one first place MVP vote.
Yeah. You saw that?
You know what I mean? So
and that's the other thing. He's a fan favorite. I feel like that's why that happened.
Yeah.
They love him.
Mike, what you think about that? I know you over there pondering something, bro. I know you over there pondering something, man.
Listen, my issue with a Bradley Beal CP3
sorry.
backcourt
looking at the game. Sorry.
Is that
it changes the dynamic.
That's the Wizards coming.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that.
Hold on.
I don't need. I'm glad you said that. I don't want that.
So Bradley Beal and Chris Paul wouldn't make a difference in New York. You don't think
Bradley Beal and Chris Paul would make a significant difference.
Mm-hmm.
However, you're still kind of teetering a little off balance.
Yeah, bro, that's not it.
I don't think that's it. That was we were just having a discussion about
regardless of his playoff output. When did Bradley Beal do anything to get the Wizards in the playoffs?
Yeah,
it was Westbrook, man, this year.
It
was Westbrook. I would take Westbrook in a second, man, on the Knicks.
And he had John Wall as well.
And now you're talking about changing the team.
Had Kelly Oubre fresh out of college.
But
to his credit,
got all them shooters over there right now.
Better players around him. So you wanna angle it to coaching?
Yes.
Okay, we could do that. But at the same time, just because that's no different than when Pat Riley took over the Knicks had an 11th man on the bench, Tony Campbell. Tony Campbell with the Timberwolves used to put up numbers.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But where did the Timberwolves ever go?
Nowhere.
Just because you are a high number producing ball player on a bad squad, it means that you getting all the shots.
Yeah.
So
he's not gonna play good in the chemistry
with Bradley Beal. I ain't saying no if he show up on my doorstep tomorrow, but that ain't. I'm not mortgaging the future for Bradley Beal.
Yeah, he ain't the cup of tea, right?
Money.
He ain't the cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man.
It would just be a little more exciting to watch. It would be a fun game.
But that's gonna change that's gonna change it because he ain't do, like he said, he didn't do nothing in Washington. So we need somebody who's gonna stick to what we've been doing, but a little bit better than what we have, not Bill level of good. And that's the question I was gonna ask y'all. Do you think that if we get a shooting guard like Bill and a point guard that's like Chris Paul or on that level, is that gonna change? That's gonna change our team. That's not gonna be the same Knicks. And that's why I keep saying Knicks, like even the old Knicks, like not saying we don't have to get better to do better than we did in so long, because we haven't won in so long, but we can't mess up what got us where we are now as far as what we add. That's my key point. Wow. Only a little bit more. Better than Randall, but not too much to change the other guys' growth.
And shout out to Morris, man. He said that RJ fits the team concept better. He just needs time. He'll average about 20 next year. The Knicks' problem is they don't have dogs and a small forward and point guard, which is true.
How you need a point guard?
Check this out. Check this out.
Say it again, Mike.
Colin Sexton.
I don't like his game.
I like him. He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah, you're right, because I had that conversation. I had that conversation. Here's the thing. Here's the problem, though. The bar's super low when it comes to that position. So Colin Sexton would be a huge upgrade at the point guard position. You scoring. Right. And you scoring. Now you're gonna get 15 points. Stills, you're not gonna get 15, 20 points from him.
But what about Smith? I'm looking for a floor general. He's not a floor general. We need a floor general.
Not yet. You're right.
How many layups did Peyton miss?
1,000.
But again, y'all are missing the point. We need a quarterback, man. Every good team in the NBA has a great point guard.
Check this out.
Somebody that can run the show. We don't have that.
Let me ask you this. Your boy is unhappy
over there. I think we need both.
Say it again.
Your boy in Boston is unhappy right now.
No.
He talking about Kemba.
No, I don't know.
He didn't want to come here. He didn't want to come here when they was talking.
Yeah, I didn't understand what that was about.
Charlotte. He don't want to be in New York. He don't want to be home and dealing with.
Scared. I think he's scared of the lights here.
Nah, it's not that. He just don't want to deal with the get me in the garden and all the friends and family that's gonna be on his back about money. Yeah, he don't want to come back home. He's not stupid. He's smart. He don't want to come back here.
Okay, but if that weren't the case, he's still not the guy.
Nah, he's not. He's injury prone. I think yeah, after this contract, done. Yep.
So Stills, why
that was Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown.
Ooh, that's tough.
Because SB Nation has a report up that Boston is looking to blow it up.
Oh,
so they'll most likely keep Tatum
and him,
but Jaylen Brown is expendable.
Jaylen Brown is a small forward, huh?
We need to use him. We can use him.
He's a shooting guard.
Nah, he's more than
2 or 3.
2-3.
So Stills, I wanted to ask you. Stills, I wanted to ask you.
Brad Stevens is there now, so he's the GM. So we'll see. What was you going
to
ask?
I got a question for you, Stills. You said something about we need more of an orchestrator, like more of a quarterback. You said, right?
Yes.
When I said Lonzo Ball, you failed to agree to that, and he's perfect for that role because that's what his job is to do. And as far as Sexton, right? If Sexton could come in and give us the same point production, but playing Tibbs' system and pass the ball, that would be great because he can pass too. It just depends on who he has. Cleveland never gave him nobody to really pass to, but that other little guard that was on his team that had talent as well. So if he out there and he scores the ball, And if he's gonna play on the tip system, I think he'll be good. But Lonzo Ball is somebody that we mentioned before that orchestrates. Why you don't like him if you think we need a quarterback?
You want to know why? Because he can't shoot. He's a liability. Dudes are back off of him, just like they do with Rajon Rondo.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Alfred. He can't shoot.
And look,
but he's out of here though. He's out of here.
Yeah, but
I mean,
pass either.
Yeah, he can't do much of anything. Or chew gum. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, y'all better chill. His mom's watch the show. Y'all better chill.
Yeah, his mom's just tweeting for him. Yo, and he got the burner account, the fake account.
Yeah.
Yo, you Stills, you be upset if we had Lonzo?
No, I wouldn't be upset. Be upset, but man, I like Lonzo because he plays defense.
I like him.
I like him coming out of college. It's
his
just
shot improved. No, his shot improved. I don't think you really get to see him as much probably, but his shot improved.
Yeah, he don't got that hitch no more. He was shooting from the other side of his body or something like that when he first came in.
I think that would probably be worst case scenario. But then when you bring him, you bring in his father. So
I haven't heard his father lately.
But you know what? But you know what? Point counterpoint. He could bring his daddy.
That's fine. It's New York.
Here for.
It's New York. Yeah.
Which is something that no other team has had. It ain't cachet with his pops. It's nigga to nigga. And that's worldwide.
That's true.
That's true. You're right. You're 100% right. I agree with that. I like that. I take him in the flag.
East Coast versus West Coast.
Hey, listen. I'm sure Worldwide West is that dude. That's Biggs from Rock. That's Biggs from Rock Nation. The dude you don't really see, but
he moving things around.
People listen.
Yeah.
Shout out to Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we make a worldwide
mess.
Yes.
That's crazy. Shout out to him for changing our culture, man.
I mean,
we appreciate
him as a free agent, so that would actually work to where we're not mortgaging the future. I could live with that. But I would still draft the point guard as well in the draft.
What you think they're gonna do with this Luka? Sorry.
I like Luka. I mean, he played in that Spanish league. He did well from the clips that I see. You know, they even went as far as to comparing him and Luka Doncic's numbers in that same league, and it was eerily similar.
Yeah,
well, it's tough to do good over there. Look at the Ball brother, and then Luka.
Yeah.
All of those guys be professionals at 13 years old. I was just talking about that the other day.
That's why they separate
13 and 14.
Yes.
Yeah. I was telling one of my kids' moms.
And
you know why, right?
In these early I mean, you look at like Wally Serbiak's pops.
Yes.
He played overseas till he was in his mid-40s.
That's a fact.
But yet you got a point guard on your team who's like 16 years old. So by the time he come over here, you know what I'm saying? He been playing with grown men.
Yes, he's seasoned, and they're more disciplined, and they have more fundamentals overseas than U.S. players. And I was talking about this with somebody the other day, man. A lot of players here are spoiled. You know what I mean? They don't want to put in that work to get better. They don't like being coached hard. You know what I mean? You coach them hard, their parents getting their feelings. Why are you not playing my son?
Or it's because of the states, I think, more or less. You know why? Mm-hmm. Because out of the country is just doing a better job. When you look at the numbers of how many professionals in the NBA is coming from overseas in different places, you know, the parents over there are taking a risk putting their kids in those leagues early on, and they're not going to school full time. In the States, they're not doing that. They're putting all these rules in place. You got to go to college and things like that. So you just got to give credit to those kids' parents for taking the risk and betting on themselves, man. You know what I mean? That's basically what they did. And Porzingis, all of those kids. And one more point I want to make, with Luka doing what he did, they was talking about with like KD, Luka doing that with one star by himself. He took Clippers all the way to 7 games, and the Clippers got all those players. So nobody want to hear about, he's doing it by himself. So everybody want to know how and why. It's because he was a professional at so young, like you guys just was talking about. That's just a major point in how you got to teach the kids early.
Something magical about them Europeans, man, the way they play. I got a sneaky suspicion that the Luka that we got is really going. I think he's going to surprise some cats. We may not have to get
agree.
super deep with the whole point guard thing. They might already have that locked up. Then we could focus on the small forward and possibly get a big scoring back. Yeah, because that kid right there. And this season now they're coming back with the summer league. So
I'm out there.
Yeah, you're gonna see him out there. You're gonna see
Stills,
him.
let's go, Stills.
I'm there.
Going, man.
Yo, listen, we could all go, kid.
I was gonna say, don't go. If I'm in the show on this one now, that means you just invited me. I'm coming.
Shit, Dre, when was the last time we was in
Vegas? We all
Vegas, word.
Shit, that was like 5-6 years ago.
That was a minute.
Vegas. You know what I mean?
Word. And that's where it is, right? The summer league out in Vegas, right?
And then you could just get an Airbnb. You get an Airbnb, so you ain't gotta worry. You know what I mean? Get an Airbnb out there, you Gucci. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let you know the details still when I'm pulling out. We can set this up.
Yeah, kid. I need to do that, man. You know,
get a close look. Get a close look at Luka and quickly and the young bloods out there.
Yeah, man. Exactly. I'm all for that, man. Well, damn, fellas. You know, I had to log off the radio. You know, I had to get off the radio, keep the radio going, but kept the YouTube going, man. But unfortunately, man, it's coming to another end of another good show, man. You know what I mean? We got to do this next week, man. Shout out to my brother Mike Ray. Shout out to Andre, man. I'm gonna send you the link a lot earlier. Shout out to Will, my co-host, man. You know what I'm saying? Another show in the books, man. Don't forget every week, Knicks Talk Nation Radio, live on Bars and Hoops Radio. You know what I mean? From 10 to 11 weekly. We go overtime on the YouTube every week as well, man. So, you know, make sure you check in with us next week. We're going to have another interesting topic, man. We're going to go back, man. We're going to talk about some of these GMs, man, like the Bill Jacksons, the Isaiah Thomas, the Frank Layden, the Scott Layden, where it went bad. You know what I mean? We're going to get out of that too, man, because, you know, we Knicks fans and we got to always have some content to talk about, man. So, fellas, man, I want to salute y'all, man, for checking in again, man, and rocking with me this week, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it, man.
You already know, Mike,
appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, bro. I appreciate you, man, for real.
Thank y'all.
You already know how we do it, man. We're going to take them out of here with this theme, man. And don't forget, next week, tune in, same time, same channel. Stills the Great, Hard Will, Knicks Talk Nation Radio, signing off.
Peace.
City, we back. The Big Apple, NY. The Knicks are back. Staten Mellow. This dedicated to my city, New York. Official kings in the court. Reach with a ball, a hard lesson gets taught. So bring your skills to the nearest playground. No clown around. Catch a helmet in a minute on a New York playground. The Big Apple's what they call it for short. And basketball is our sport. We play for keeps and never settle for sure. So bring your game when you come to my town. We snatch and found you get embarrassed on the court after you shook to the ground. You get respected when you prove to get down. So say the joke for the clowns. And NYC, we known to go a few rounds. This is a city where you're forced to go hard. You'll get booed out of Dodge and shown the door being the weakest on squads. Rucker Park and summer nights, they stay live. Brothers play for the pride and bragging rights on who's the king of NY. So grab the pill and prepare to go hard. Pick your 12-man squad. Orange and blue, better believe we go hard. This for my city, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me. New York City.